that's not a good risk to take, because what tends to happen at these things is that's where addiction sets in. So there are some things that you shouldn't bother delving into. And unfortunately, sports betting is one of them. And I've seen people who have lost their income.
Good evening, everybody. This is Sahara Sab. You're welcome to tonight's episode. And it's episode 10 of Tales by Moonlight. And tonight, we are going a little bit off topic into the financial world to see what we can do in that area and help us also make proper financial decisions as early as possible. So tonight we have Efe Ogunnaiya. I hope I pronounced the name right.
And perfectly.
Okay, great. An investment strategist, and she's with Ayola Investment Management Limited. So we're going to learn more about him. So if you don't mind, Efe, I hope you don't mind I call you Efe.
No.
Awesome. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay, so you want to know more about me?
Yeah, so just give us a brief introduction of who you are and your investment company.
Okay, so my name is, as you said, my name is Efe Ogunnaiya. I run Management Limited. Yeah, and an asset management company wants to set up. We actually give them the support that they need. We do financial literacy coaching. One of the other things that we've also started is so we've gotten some people who are interested in finance. Maybe they're doing their MBAs, but they around in finance. So they come to us for training. We started doing some of those types of training. Then obviously our flagship training product was the Beginner's Guide to Investments, which we launched last year, and to some positive reviews. And so we do is financial planning. So we help people create plans. For their finances, and basically helping them with goal setting and the short, medium, and long-term plans that they might have. Yeah, and that is another thing. Then the other really great thing that we do is that we create family offices. So basically, I don't know if you've been aware, I've been on this drive to help people institutionalize their wealth. And the first thing is you create a financial plan, or create your budget, create a financial plan. Then with that one, you're now able to be on track to now institutionalize your wealth. And so that is all what we are mostly about. Very
interesting. I hope from what I've heard so far, I hope it's not it looks like you work with rich people who have a lot of money, but we'll get to that.
No. No. Funny enough, the people I'm working with are just mostly regular people. So that is why there's levels to this.
Okay.
So someone need help, and so I actually I've just not launched that particular course yet, how to create their budgets. I've prepared it, but to record it now, it's another issue. So I would record that one. So that way, anybody who wants to learn how to create a budget can learn how to do so. Then if you need extra help, then you can contact us. We'll now help you with creating a financial plan. In the pipeline, we look to setting up our investment club. So that way, people can leverage on our expertise, and then they understand, and then it comes with coaching sessions every quarter. But we are still waiting. We're still trying to put one or two things together before we eventually launch that one. So at every level you are in your life, there is something for everyone. So from people who are just starting out in their careers all the way up to the rich guys, we are seeing that there are ways to accommodate everyone. So we're working on it.
Awesome. So one of the things that caught my attention before I contacted you was the pre-MBA course you mentioned, targeted toward people who do not have finance background. So this call, or my community, I believe that most of us do not have finance background, including myself. And we're also just starting off in life and looking for how to go about earn an income as well. So we're going to, so for the purpose of this call, we'll try and narrow the audience. So let's look at people who are maybe just starting off their career, high school graduates, or university, college students, someone who's still in university, or even a university graduate, an entry-level worker, a junior staff of a company. So these are the this should be the target group our discussion should be focused towards. So I always crack a joke. I always say, now person don't chop belly food, they invest. I don't know if it makes any financial sense or not, because
it does.
Because one of the things also I would like us to look at is trading and investing, because I think those two terms are kind of intertwined, and people in trying to make money, they tend to forex trading or crypto trading and thinking that they are investing, or maybe they think that they are investors Sabinus, but I think that the main goal is to be able to, first of all, be able to generate the income, then know what to do about it. That's budgeting. So please, let's start with this first. Can you throw us more light on budgeting? So maybe let's take someone for instance, a Christian. I have a system that I use. When I receive an income, I just run the amount through my spreadsheets. I've divided it by everything already. So 10% as a Christian, obviously know where it goes to. So that is out. Then the other things. And let me just tell you one thing I've been doing since last year. Since last year, February, I have been calculating how much I spend every day, and it sums up to every month. So right now, I know how much my living wage is. I know how much exactly the amount I need to survive for a month, for 30 days. I know if I have this amount, I don't have anybody's problem, that everything is settled. So tell us budgeting. What's the psychology towards budgeting, and how should someone approach budgeting when they receive an income?
Okay, so the thing about the budgeting and creating your budgets is that we all come from this area of scarcity. Oh, there's not enough. The money is not enough. I need to eat. You really sit down and really look at your expenses. You realize that what you're spending on at whatever level that you are at. There's still some places that you can cut down, and you think, and then because there's so much pressure, when you're in a tight spot, when you're in a tight spot and you need to come out of it, you will not see any way out. It's somebody from the outside that will tell you, look, why don't you come out this way? I guess for me, this whole thing was born out of, like you were right, when I was a young graduate earning very little money. The thing that helped me, that I now really sat down and I said, okay, how much do I need to go to work? How much do I need to go to work? How much do I need to eat? Should I keep eating out? Will it be cheaper if I cook from home? So those are all the things that you really need to think about. And the thing is, when it comes to, there's a difference between saving, where you should think of is saving and investing are intertwined. Trading is a whole nother beast on its own. So it's not investing and trading that are the same thing. No. Trading basically takes cognizance of income intraday. That is, today I bought Bitcoin today and I sold it. I bought Bitcoin in the morning and I sold it in the evening. I bought gold futures today and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it in 3 months' time. That is all the aspects of trading, but it's not really helping you as an investor. What I always say is, like, no amount is ever too small. I remember when I got my very first job here in Lagos, I think, if I'm not mistaken, my salary then was, I don't know how much the exchange rate would have been back then, but it was, let's say, about 30,000 naira.
Okay.
And I had obligations, right? So I broke down my obligations and around when I would need them. So first thing I did was, okay, going to work was going to cost me a certain amount of transport every day. So I calculated it and I kept it aside. Lunch, I really didn't have much time because, as you know, distances are far and traffic can be wicked. So I said, okay, what can I eat at lunch? So, because I wouldn't have breakfast, so I'll only eat during lunchtime. So, you know what I used to do?
So for general reference, 30,000 naira is about $65 for those who are in different.
That is $65 now.
Yes.
So
can you imagine back then? Yeah.
Back then, so I'm talking about that 30,000 naira was about was about 15, 16 years ago. So it's quite so it's quite a while. So that was not even really my first job. So that was a job I took when I moved.
But people still earn this same amount at this very moment.
It's true.
Yeah, teachers.
But you know that inflation has really come in. So
yes.
You know, so I had like a certain amount that I would keep. And so I discovered something that was very funny. If I would have lunch, I would always never order meat. So whether beef or chicken with my meals. And that cut my lunch spending by more than half. If you would go to the restaurant and you order maybe rice with chicken, maybe that time you could spend almost 700 naira or so. But if you just order only rice, maybe you'll be spending almost, that time, if I remember correctly, I was spending about 200, 250 naira on my meals. So I made it a point not to. So if I was eating amala, which is like your kenke or swallow,
yes,
just imagine swallow ahead, and then you now don't order meat with it, that you will eat with it. You know that the money that you have spent has has reduced significantly. So those were the tricks that I used while I was because I had moved from Port Harcourt to Lagos, and so those are some of the tricks I used. And what was funny was that I came with the car. You know, so I had to pay to maintain the car on such a meager salary. So I said, okay, we service the car every 6 months or so, or when you reach the 10,000 kilometer mark. So what I would do is that I think it was about, that time, it was about 15,000 naira to service the car. So what I would do is that I would know that, okay, by this time of the month, though, I would have needed to save some money towards that. And maybe every month I'd be saving 1,000 naira. Then I would be saving another amount of money towards any major project that I would need to do. So with that, I was able to plan my finances. So it's a lot easier for a single person to do this than someone who has wife and children.
Yeah.
At that point, you would have to come in, you would have to work together and pull your resources together in order to basically make ends meet.
Sorry for cutting. So you were saying that you were able to save like 1,000 naira from your 30,000
naira a month. Yes.
A month. Okay. So does that, and that was for a specific goal towards your car maintenance, for instance. But is it also possible to say that for a very low income person, marginalized low income person, is it wise to also say that you shouldn't save, like focus on other things, maybe upskilling or something, rather than putting money aside?
Because even if you are going to upskill, you're still going to have the same problem. How are you going to pay for upskilling? You know, so the best example I can give for upskilling was what I did when I was getting ready to do my master's degree. You know that, okay, because of family constraints, I found it difficult to do my master's degree in Nigeria. Simply because you would have to go to school on Friday after work. You're there all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then you come back. As at the time I started, my kids were still little. So it was really difficult. So I had to look for a school that will allow me to take one class a semester. And unfortunately, the only kind of places that would do that were schools. Yes, not even just abroad, schools in the US.
Oh, okay.
Because my colleague came to Lancaster University. She used to come to Lancaster there in Ghana. So she would leave work every Friday. I think it's one Friday a month or so, or 2 Fridays a month. And then she would fly into Accra, go to school for the weekend and fly back. So I didn't have that kind of, I didn't have that type of
financial
money.
Strengths.
Exactly. I did not have all that. So in my own case, what I did was that I had saved money for a while so that I could put it towards my upskilling. So when it was now time to do my master's degree, I found a school that would allow you to start a class before you pay. So you could start class before you pay.
Yeah.
So while I'm in class, I can be paying little by little, but the truth is I have to pay before the next semester or before the next class starts. So because I had some bulk sum, it made life easier, even though my salary was much smaller. Because even if you earn such a small amount of money, either way, you will still need to live. You're going to school, you don't have an emergency fund that you can fall back on. Will you now lose your job? What happens if you lose your job, or what happens when it's now time to pay rent? Will you say that because you're paying abroad school fees or your school fees to upskill, you will not pay your house rent? There's some, and then you also have to look at certain things. Like as at the time I started my master's degree, so I finished university in 2002, and obviously proceeded on my service year. And so I'd already cultivated that habit of saving during my service year. And the salary is very small. So I was trying to live off of a little bit above half of the allowance that we're given, and then so I managed it to the best of my ability then. And so by the time I was finishing service year, I actually had some savings.
Awesome.
Because all I was worried about was, because in Nigeria, when you're doing your service year, particularly if you're doing it in the rural areas, they are supposed to provide accommodation for you.
Yeah.
And so I was lucky. So I got accommodation. So all I had to worry about was feeding myself.
So let's say
that is all I.
So let's say, for instance, every week there's Premiership, there's English Football League, there's English football matches. Not English. There's matches every weekend, midweek, weekends every week when the season is on. I'm a low income earner. Let's assume that the average income I've noticed from some of the work I did last year, I noticed that Sub-Saharan Africans, we barely earn around $200. That's like the average income across Sub-Saharan Africa is $200 thereabout. So now let's say I'm able to have some money. I'm able to put some money down every weekend, and I don't know, every weekend I feel like I can double. We're talking about, let's remind ourselves of the topic: investment risk, building a strong financial plan for long-term success. So let's say every weekend I'm taking more risk by playing sport bets, knowing that I can use 100 naira or 1 Ghana cedis to earn, I don't know how much did they even promise them, 100,000 naira or 10,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. So is that a good risk to take?
That's not a good risk to take. That's not a good risk to take, because what tends to happen at these things is that's where addiction sets in. So there are some things that you shouldn't bother delving into. And unfortunately, sports betting is one of them. And I've seen people who have lost their income. I didn't really realize how serious it was until there was one day I went to, I don't know if they have these as well in Ghana, like you go to some of these business centers where, okay, you need to print something or you need to quickly go online.
Yes, we do.
Fill out some forms. So you have And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I was thinking, the time I'm thinking about is this is all before smartphones
Okay,
were
okay, okay.
popular. And so if you needed to print anything, like maybe you needed to scan your CV somewhere, nobody had smartphones. Everybody had their
Yeah,
little flash
you had to
drive.
go to the, yeah.
So you had to go to those types of people.
Yes, the
So
business
there was
center.
this guy I saw. The place was full, so he was waiting. He came to use a computer, and he only had like 1,000 naira on him. And before you know it, they said, "Oh, you should do this dog race thing. The first one, you get 200 naira bonus." Blah 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 blah. Do you know the time I went to print out the documents that I needed to print out? This young man's money had finished.
Wow. It's
So the
1,000
thing he
naira.
came to do, he could not do. So I see sports betting, I see it's something that used to be that the whole idea behind it is supposed to be fun, like, oh, okay, here's 5 naira, here is 20 naira, and then you call it a day. But now you're seeing people put in, and now it's now worse because there are apps for it. So it's so easy to just click a button or press a short code, and then you get your betting number or whatever, and then that's it. So
So sport bet is not an investment strategy.
It's not an investment. It's not, sadly, it's not. So even if so the way I would look at it is this: that you have for such a thing, what I would do, right, is because you're not going to be able to eliminate it.
Yes.
So thankfully, the sporting season is very short. There's this specific time for it.
Yeah.
So how about you, with an envelope, you have sports betting envelope, and every week or every month.
This is getting very interesting.
Okay, so as I was saying, so remind me, when is the football season typically? What month to what month?
I have no idea. I just watch highlights. I stopped watching football since Arsenal got beaten in the Champions League final. That was in 07, 06 or so. So I just watch highlights. I don't care.
Okay, but I know that it's a couple of months during the year.
Yes. It's a season. It's a season.
It's a very short season. So how about you putting so how about one thing that I could think of? So any way that makes it easier, you just avoid. So it's supposed to be something that is fun. So that it's fun, and then you still live your life, and you also help to battle some of the addiction. What you could do, you could either avoid everything. That's like you have not bothered looking at sporting ever. I'm not addicted, but I still enjoy it. It's fun to go to the viewing centers, and it's a very simple matter. You get an envelope every month out of your small salary. You just be saving towards it. Sports betting or premiership program, or whatever it is that you want to call it.
Okay.
You just label it, and then so it's something that is fun that you can have. And so once that money inside that envelope has finished, that's the end. So you'll be forced to take your time. So the thing, just like how I did it for my master's degree, I started my master's degree in 2016, September 2016, and I started really thinking long and hard about it. So by 2013, I started saving up towards my master's degree.
Okay.
I was saving up, like, maybe I was not saving up towards it. It was not even anything significant. I was just saving. So I was just putting it away. Yeah. And then once you reached like the bulk amount, then I paid my first semester tuition, bought my textbook, and then now started going to school. And that really helped me because scarce. You couldn't get FX to pay for school. I had markets to go and buy. Because I had been saving all this while, it made life easier, but it also accelerated how the bulk money that I had saved finished. So, but that is what actually helped me. That's what really helped me a lot, because if I look at my annual salary then, and I look at how much it is that I spent on school fees, I think my annual salary when I started and the amount. So basically I spent, as at that time, the whole program was about $20,000 for the whole program.
Okay.
And so you can imagine that my salary then could not, like my monthly salary could not pay one semester's
Wow. Yeah.
because it was $2,000. I had to take 10 classes. So if you calculate it, you just be like, Efe, how did you manage? I said, this is what I did. I had saved a bulk sum over a period, and then now started. And I didn't put it in anything that was so risky. I put it in what you would call a money market fund.
Yeah.
And that is what I did. So if as at that time they had like the Eurobond dollar fund that they have now, that would have been what I would have done.
Great.
You get
so from what you're saying, it sounds like it requires a lot of discipline.
Yes,
it requires
does.
a lot of discipline. Yeah,
A
to
lot.
save requires a lot of discipline and not to touch the money. So good, you introduce money market fund, and these are low risk investment plan. But I think let's look at some of the more risky one before we enter the money market fund. Something. So like we mentioned earlier, as I said, I'm looking for, because one of the challenges, actually one of the problems I was trying to solve last year before I found what I was doing that gave me so much money, was that this sport betting thing has always been on my mind, on what can young Africans do to actually, I just checked, the English season lasts for 9 months. So the football season lasts for 9 months. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me? It's a lot,
yes, I can. It's a lot, because that is most of the year. So
yes,
saving up towards that, and then you're saving up. So are you going to save up for your, so at that point, what you will now do is that you plan what matches you're going to see, because I know that they will typically tell you the dates of all the matches.
Yes, they do
beforehand. Would obviously stick to your team and other teams that you support. You cannot go and be watching every match. So if you're an Arsenal fan, you would save towards all the Arsenal, is it home or away matches, whichever one that you want to do. So maybe you would decide that, okay, I'm going to watch all the home matches. I'm going to watch some of the UEFA matches where Arsenal appears in, and then maybe I will support, I don't know, I know some people that like which league now? Italian league or whatever. I don't know. Serie A.
Yeah, Serie A.
Serie A, or the Spanish league, like the Spanish league, or is it some people like the German league? Now, because of our brother has gone to go and play in Saudi, they're now looking at.
They've all got to Middle East now. So
exactly.
let's at this generation, I think we are exposed to a lot of information, so we are exposed to a lot of things as well. And right now, last year the hype for crypto was so much. You mentioned Bitcoin and intraday trading, where you buy low, sell high. Along the way, NFTs came up, and people will be like, "Oh, you can make a lot of money. NFT, just buy this picture of a monkey, and you flip it, and you make a lot of money." So, I mean, these things will come your way, like you said, it's discipline already. But how would one know the thing? How is there maybe some points that you use to say that, okay, this thing I'm not supposed to go in? How can I identify a Ponzi scheme? How can I identify a multi-level marketing or multi-level, I don't know, pyramid scheme that can flip in money? Someone be like, oh, come and join this fund or something. Every week the payout is this. These things are there. So how do one avoid this with your low income? Avoid all this risk.
Okay, so the first thing is you need to understand your risk appetite, first of all. And the only way you can do it is there are lots of risk quizzes. I will send you a link to one of my favorite.
Okay. I'll add it to the video. It's a free when we publish it.
Yes, so I'll send it to you. And so look at asset allocation required for that. And then you look at the amount of money. it will give you a good idea, you know. So there in Ghana, I know that there are quite a number of asset management companies over there. So for someone who is low income, where they should be focused on is mutual funds. They should just invest in, depending on which one that the one that I would advise anyone to start with. Obviously, I would say you should start with that one and be contributing to it. The best example I like to give is they always talk about the power of compounding.
Yes.
Someone did a video once, see if I can find it, and his mother should be £100 every month from the day of his birth till he turned 18. And that is what was used to pay his university education. And she invested it in the UK, like a ETF or a mutual fund that was marked to the broad UK market. So every month, £100, every month, £100. So that's how she was doing it. And funny enough, there was one day I got a client that asked me, okay, I want to invest in your money market fund. What do you think I should do? So there were two of us that were being spoken to. It was myself and my other colleague.
Okay.
And he said, should I bring 100,000 naira a month or 25,000 naira a month? But I said, no, it's not 100,000 naira a month. It's 25,000 naira a week. He now smiled. And I said that by the time you calculate it, it's 25 at the end of the year. So if you do 100,000 a month, you get 1.2 million. And if you do 25,000 a week, you get added the interest payments that you're making on that money. So the more frequently you save, the better it is for you. Now, depending on what it is, like in Nigeria, they have this thing that they call esusu, where market women do daily contributions. The thing
Ghana is called susu.
It's called susu.
Yeah.
So it's basically almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So they're doing daily contributions. So if you don't have anybody to do daily contributions, you can get a carpenter to design a box for you. And any loose change that you have, I know someone who used to put, every day she'll come back from work, she'll put 1,000 naira inside that box. 1,000 naira. Some days she would put in loose change. By time she did that, so another senior colleague used to do that, but what she would do was that she opened a savings account specifically for that purpose. So she'll open her bag, any loose change that she sees inside there, she will send the cleaner in the office that you go and deposit this inside my account. The cleaner will, why are you sending me with 500 naira, with 100 naira? He said, don't worry, just be putting it like that for me. And that's how she was able to do it. And I did it. And I also did something similar too in my shop. When I used to make clothes at a point. I had like a little purse that I used to keep clients' money. Once the money inside that purse reaches 5,000 naira those days, I will just take it. I'll give it to the shop attendant. This is my account number. Go to Fidelity Bank, go and deposit it there. Go to the bank, go and deposit it there. And then bring the teller for me. And the moment, little things, because you find out that once there's excess money in your hand, that's when you remember that you're hungry.
KFC.
That you need something to snack on. So it's not like as if you're genuinely hungry. You just, there's money in your hand. And so you will find out that there's always something to buy. Do you really need that recharge card that you want to scratch? So if you do not see money in your hand, will you see money to be doing sports betting with? The answer is no. So for young people, I always say start really small. So start with like the money market fund, and then you now start building your appetite, because once your salary is small, there's very little that you can do.
Absolutely.
So the whole premise behind a money market fund is that it's supposed to give you more of a return than your savings account would give you.
Okay.
That's the whole idea. That's the whole premise behind it. But so I don't know what the savings rate is now in I don't know what the savings rate is in your country, but in Nigeria it's around 4% per annum. Around 4% here, savings rate. So, but on a typical money market fund right now, even though the bond treasury bills are doing terribly, is around I think most of them is anywhere between slightly above. So we're looking at around maybe around 6-ish, maybe, depending on the size of the fund.
Okay.
So it's still kind of
still
large.
Slightly
So
higher than the savings.
Still slightly higher. So you could always just put the money in a savings account and just leave it there every week. So you can have it you can actually automate it and put in an account where you don't have access, that is not tied to your debit card.
And this is for those listening, this is per annum. This is the return you get
per annum. Yes,
annum in 12 months. So that's the crazy part. So when you look into, I'm involved in a lot of crypto stuff. I'm currently interning with a regulatory crypto company in the Netherlands. So these are some of the things I would look at. If you look in the crypto space, they will promise you outrageous returns. You can see 60-something% return and a whole lot of things. So these are quite enticing. Why should I turn my money down to some money market fund and that will give me 6% per annum in 12 months time when I can flip it? So here's my argument. Should I maybe start a business with the money I'm getting, or should I put it in a money market fund?
Okay, so like you said, so the question I always about things like this is, have the money to flip. One of the things like, okay,
we lost you temporarily.
So so now the question I always ask people is, you want to trade FX, you want to do this Bitcoin. Do you have the money? Do you have the wherewithal to be flipping? So now imagine look at Bitcoin, and you've been putting all your life savings, you've been putting it inside the Bitcoin, and you go to the exchange, you buy it. Maybe you were buying it when it was still $50,000 per BTC, right?
Yeah.
Now that it has now that it has dropped to 20, how is it a store of value? Meanwhile, you've lost money.
Yes.
So the only way that you can manage, exactly, you just to keep buying the dip. But how long will you keep buying the dip? And is it a good idea to just keep all your money in Bitcoin? The answer is no. So you should always diversify. So that is where being either you buy like an ETF, buying an ETF, or you would buy like a mutual fund that specializes in these things. But as a small investor, as a young person at the now, what you should be concentrating on is like, okay, I'm saving up towards something. So as a young person, you're just starting out in life, you can be saving towards upskilling, so too old. But the truth is, I graduated, I got my master's degree shortly after my 40th birthday, so, and I started this in my late 30s, but a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers had done their master's degree years ago, but there's nothing wrong with lifelong learning. Yeah. There's no learning that is ever too late. I have friends that are just starting to do their master's degree now. And most of us are approaching our mid 40s. Some of us are approaching our 50s now, some of my classmates. And just build yourself, build your capacity. You can either have a side hustle, and it can be something as little as in Nigeria, we have this dish called moi moi, which is beans, it's like a bean pudding. So I'm trying to think of the closest thing that you would have like that in Ghana.
Don't worry, my audience are both Ghanaians and Nigerians, so we get it, yeah.
So you have some of these, so something as little as, okay, I can be making moi moi for people. I know how to make moi moi, so I'm teaching people I sell moi moi on the weekends, and I sell it for 2,000 naira per bag, and I'm able to sell and I'm able to sell let's even say 4,000 naira every weekend. 4,000 every weekend times 4, is that not 16,000 naira?
Yes.
16,000 naira times, 16,000. Let me calculate. Thank God my calculator is here. So 16, that's already 192, almost 200,000 naira a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that is just worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You might even have an opportunity that, oh, okay, someone has a party, so I would need to order more than that slot of pack or whatever it is, and it could even be something as little as selling insurance. So you talk to all these insurance companies because they're always looking for people to sell insurance, particularly here in Nigeria.
Real estate
they're always
too.
looking for people to sell insurance, and then they give you a commission. So you don't have to show up to work every day. You sign up for it. You see their products. Anytime you see your friends, oh, I'm selling insurance, so come and buy your
or share on your WhatsApp status than be sharing jokes all the time.
Little things like that, because you never can tell who might want to patronize you. So somebody might say, oh, in my office we just got a fleet of cars, we need insurance. So you will get it for them now.
I actually just sold a dog last week.
Thank you.
Side money, like free money.
Exactly. So and then so those are all little things that you can do in the meantime, and so I think for as young people, those are the things that we should be focusing on. Because I remember when I moved to Lagos, I was making clothing in Port Harcourt. I would make wedding dresses, suits, and I had saved. So the money that I had saved from all the sales, so when I closed down the shop and I moved to Lagos, I did that for about 3.5 to 4 years, as well as my regular job. And so I had savings. So by the time I moved to Lagos, I never touched it. So the only time I touched it was maybe if maybe there was some sort of an emergency. So that was like my emergency fund. So if something significant happened to my car, or I needed to go to the hospital, or just if any kind of emergency, I needed to come to leave Lagos and come to Port Harcourt, I knew I had something I could fall back on. But that was like 4 years worth of savings. And something as little as saving 5,000 naira a month for 4 years, it will go a long way.
All right, great. So thank you so much, Efe. So you were saying that if the young person cannot afford to put money aside for mutual money market funds, that's a low investment fund, such as ETF and mutual funds, the other alternative also, what they can do alongside is also side hustle. Do something, upskill, or invest in skill, upskill, or use your already existing skills to earn more money to save and invest. So that's very good. I mean, before we switch over, and we're heading to the end right now, is there a percentage? Is there a percentage, like, I don't know this consultancy question, what other percent should I put towards my savings? Is there a rule? Is there any straightforward rule?
No. Well, there are different ways to approach it. So I've seen situations whereby it's a family on a single income.
Okay.
So that's 50% needs, 50% of your income going to needs, 20% going to your wants, and then, or rather 10%, or is it, 50, I think they said that it's 50, 30, 20, right? So you have 20% going to your wants and 30% going to your savings or whatever, or whether it's the other way around. You could always work around those numbers. But there are some people who need to do 70% going to needs because they are only a single income household. It means that the amount of money that they can use to play around with is just less. You need to figure out what your priority, hard or fast, anyway, will be resolved. So there was one time I said to myself that I was interning somewhere, and I said that, okay, I was going to be saving. I think they were paying, because of the way the place was, they were paying us every 2 weeks. And so out of that, every 2 weeks, I just had this envelope, and I would put away a certain amount of money. Whatever I was left was what I would live on. Whatever was left was what I would live on. And so we need, as Africans especially, are there things that we can actually do without? If you look at your food budget, for example, you will find that most of what you spend, if you eat out, or you go to buy food in the market, you'll find that the bulk of your budget goes to buying things like meat.
Oh, okay.
If you think about it, that's usually the most expensive thing that you would buy in the market.
Yeah.
Usually meat. So the question is, do you need to eat meat every day? The answer is no. You won't die.
Yeah. You're fully developed. You can focus on egg or something.
Exactly. But another great source of protein is egusi. There's egusi that you can eat. You can boil an egg. A child, you can drink milk. There's soy. There are so many substitutes out there because you have people who are, so you have a lot of children, like in India, they are growing now. Did they eat meat? No. Some people don't even eat egg, but yes, they still grow, So there are so many, so if you have to do certain things, that, like I said, there are always ways. So it might mean that, okay, so one thing I used to do public transport to work. And so I would walk quite a long wake up stop. And when I get to that bus stop, I'll enter the bus. So I've saved maybe 50 naira from that trip. And these were things that I used to do.
Thank you so much for the information you've given so far. We appreciate your time, your investment insights on how we can manage our funds, our money as young people. And before we wrap up, so we just want to look at now the tweet I saw, your tweet that you put the tweet that you posted, which was, so we have just less than 10 minutes. Let's wrap it up within the next 6 minutes.
Yeah.
You spoke about I'm doing pre-MBA. Pre-MBA lessons targeted towards people who do not have financial background or finance background. Why a pre-MBA? Why should someone do a pre-MBA instead of just going for an MBA? And what is this MBA course all about? Can you tell us what your pre-MBA is all about?
Okay, so
and wrap it up. Yeah.
MBA. So basically, it's, as you know, what we're talking about was about the
your pre-MBA course.
The pre-MBA course. So basically, that is targeted towards people who are doing who want to go and do their MBA and maybe don't have any business background, or who are coming from other backgrounds,
like myself, engineering background.
Yeah, so you're coming from an engineering background. There's a limit to the kind of you won't really know everything that there is to know about business. So you might not know much about how to look at financials. You might not understand how to do that. You might not know what to look out for in someone's balance sheet, and these are the things that you would need to understand if you decide that you're going on an entrepreneurial route, or particularly if you want to go towards administration and things. So these are the things that you see an effective business person. And so that is what it is. So have finance backgrounds, that course is targeted towards, and it's just a one-on-one program. So maybe after this, because this is really the first one I'm doing.
Okay.
So after now, this is the first.
So if anyone needs your services, how do they get in touch?
So they can send DM on Twitter.
On Twitter, okay.
That's
Twitter
usually the easiest way. Yeah, they can send it on Twitter. Yes. So
I'm going to leave your Twitter handle on the screen. Anybody want to reach out to Ayola Investments, you can reach out to her for your pre-MBA course 101 training session. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
So we're pulling the curtains here now. Yeah. All right, Madam Efe Ogunnaiya, thank you so much for such a wonderful insight into the low-risk investments and how to strategize as a young person with low income, and also how to get a side hustle to supplement your income or to invest in money market funds such as ETFs and mutual funds as well. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And okay, thank you for sharing. All right, awesome. All right, so thank you so much.